One thing I've come to realize again is that the body is such a complex machine. Could you kind of explain what the pelvic floor is and how, or what is its importance rather?
What about the problems what women are suffering from? There are such problems which women do feel that it's, they have these problems. It's very common and they feel it's normal. Pelvic floor physiotherapy is
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Leader. And today we have with us Dr. Ashwini Kale, who is also the founder of Pelvic Academy of Rehabilitation and Research, Maharashtra. Thank you for meting out your time to be with us today, ma'am.
It's my pleasure, Peter.
Before we get into the whole question aspect of it, over the past year, I've come to the realization of the importance of physiotherapy as it is, having my own issues per se. And one thing I've come to realize again is that the body is such a complex machine, which has these tiny parts that ignored long enough can cause a much bigger problem. But today you have a particular academy that is focused on a particular aspect of the body, which is the pelvic floor. But before we get into the crux of it, could you kind of explain what the pelvic floor is and how, or what is its importance rather?
So very nicely that you have given your own example that you had ignored those small problems. So even though these common problems like neck pain, back pain and other issues, you all know that physiotherapy is there and you have exercises to prevent them and treat them, still we do ignore them. So what about the problems what women are suffering from? There are such problems which women do feel that it's, they have these problems. It's very common and they feel it's normal. For example, like peeing in the pants or peeing when they cough or sneeze or when they're picking up the baby postpartum. Sometimes female feel that they have one part of the organ coming out of the vagina and they're being told by their, older, the mothers and mother-in-laws in the family that this is normal. You've just given birth to a baby. It's normal. So it's common, but it's not normal. So pelvic floor physiotherapy is a branch of physiotherapy which is a specialized branch of physiotherapy, basically which focuses on the pelvic floor muscles. Now these are the muscles which, have the bladder, the rectum and the uterus, which is basically the organs for urination, for the bowel movements and for childbirth. And they protect the organs inside, hold them, support them, give them core stability, and is responsible for continence.
I see. But now, how we have the word the pelvic floor, we've had that, but then now what becomes when you combine the word pelvic floor and physiotherapy? So how do these two come to play together?
Right. So pelvic floor physiotherapy is basically the exercises which are which encompasses the pelvic floor muscles. So as all muscles do, they also get weak. So if your biceps get weak, you go to the gym, you pick up dumbbells, you go for strengthening. Similarly, after childbirth or after some dysfunction, the pelvic floor muscle also gets weak. Sometimes they get even tighter. Now those patients who have chronic constipation, they have tight pelvic floor muscles, they have to relax. Those patients who have incontinence, the pelvic floor muscles are weak. So we have exercises which are specially designed for these muscles.
So wait, constipation is caused by a weak pelvic floor?
So tight pelvic floor does not mean it's strong. A tight pelvic floor can be tight and weak.
Oh, I see. Okay. But then now we also have the pelvic floor dysfunction. But then how is it diagnosed and how can it be managed?
So the pelvic floor issues are most commonly in India are diagnosed by the urologist or gynecologist here, but they can be addressed or assessed by pelvic floor physiotherapist as well. And we do assess these dysfunctions by doing a battery of assessments like external pelvic floor assessments. Then we also go an intravaginal or a per-rectal examination, which gives us, we feel for the muscle, we check the tone, we check how it's working with the other muscles of the body. The pelvic floor is basically a part of the core muscles. You all know about the core muscles, right? So we have the diaphragm at the top, we have the abdominal muscles in the front, we have the pelvic floor muscles at the back, at the bottom, and we have the paraspine muscles at the back. All of these work together in coordination. So if there's any incoordination between any of these muscles, they lead to dysfunctions. So the pelvic floor muscle is basically a part of the core, and it has to be treated as we do for any other core muscles.
Amazing. Okay, so like I said, over the past year, I've come into the importance of physiotherapy. And there's a lot of people that don't particularly have any knowledge about physiotherapy, and everybody is more towards mainstream medicine. So I'm going to see a doctor, because for a long time, before I went to physiotherapy, I had the doctors giving me medicine, which was kind of like blocking the pain. But then blocking the pain did not take it away, because eventually I got used to it, and the pain came back with a vengeance this time around. But now I try to advocate technically for physiotherapy over this period. But now, as an expert in the field, what would you say to the public, especially in regards to physiotherapy and its importance?
So that was the sad reality, that physiotherapy still is a reference-based practice in India, is a majority of a reference-based practice. But now that people have come up to own their own problems, they're identifying their own problems. Nowadays, they're understanding the ill effects of medications.
Yeah.
So no one wants to have some ill effects on their kidneys, and they don't want to have ill effects. And after they know that after some period of time, when the medications wear off, it's still going to come back. But once they have, as you did, once they have seen the beauty of physiotherapy and they see how the recurrence of the problem stops there, so they start believing in physiotherapy. And yes, definitely, it is our duty that we should go on, advocate. And I think the word of mouth right now is spreading pretty fast. And yes, people are getting more aware of. And nowadays, the picture is slightly changing, and people are not coming only by references, but are coming by self-referred as well.
Well, again, Parul University, we are trying to kind of like bridge that gap, which is why we also have the Physio Summit, which you have just attended. But in your opinion, what was your overall experience like in regards to this summit?
So first of all, the summit was wonderful, and the type of speakers they had, it was completely a big plethora of different kinds of expertise. So we had people from clinical research, we had people who were helping in funding, we had people who were helping in making patents. Okay, so we had people from different streams. We had expert talks in some conditions. So it's like kind of a whole baggage, for a whole, for the students and for those who are participating for the summit. And for us also, we got to hear a lot of, new things from other people. I got to learn a lot from other speakers. Like they gave me a good insight about how we should, what are the common mistakes we do when we're going for a grant writing. And we had another dean from RK University who was talking about the importance of how to patent your ideas, to how to modify or build the concepts and own your designs, and how to make sure you can design it and bring it into your practice. So that was kind of inspiring for me too.
Well, I'm glad that we could actually facilitate this experience for you. And we've come to the end of our time. So thank you very much for
Peter, thank you so much.
being here with us today. And we hope to see more of you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.